Hi, Jesse Jaramillo, General Manager of Antioch Ford, and welcome to another episode of Kunes Car Convos. Today we're with the Cardinal Crazy, and Principal Mike will be driving around in a 2025 Ford F-150 Lariat. So how was the main event?
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we're
okay,
good. Yeah, oh
okay.
yeah, oh yeah. We've
So,
been recording.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was fantastic. It was great to see everybody in the community. Kunes was a fantastic sponsor. Crazy was there.
Yeah.
It was great. They raised a ton of cash for the students and staff at Antioch Community High School. So it's going to be great. So
How long?
maybe we'll get another mascot so that we can have two.
Oh,
right,
that would be
with some of the
cool.
money raised.
Yeah, it was a blast being there. There was a ton of people there. It had some great, raffle items, and I mean, it was a great location and everything. So
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And how long have you guys been doing the main event for?
Oh, well, this is my third year as principal, so we've done it every year, but I think that it predates me a couple of years. So, and every year it gets a little bit bigger and better, and again, they raised a ton of cash for good things.
It seemed like the parking spots were definitely the highlight of the night.
Yes, right, and hopefully they'll be able to pull up a parking in a parking spot with a car like this, So those are in hot demand, and we're very fortunate that we have parents who bid high on that, and again, that money just gets recycled back into the school.
And I know we were talking a little bit about how I guess different programs can kind of ask for, is it like an allowance of some sort to kind of give back to whatever the extracurricular activity the students are taking a part of?
Yeah,
Basically how it works.
Yeah, they submit a proposal. This is what I want to do. I want to have some cash to go on a field trip, or I want, this particular, sometimes our spirit section, they want to have like a tailgate before a football game, and of course that costs money. We get some pizzas from Antioch Pizza, which we're going right by here. And,
Great spot.
pop and everything, that all costs money, and
Yeah.
it's not taxpayer money. It's money that is raised by the parents.
Yep. I think that's one thing about Antioch, right? Like, the Antioch Pizza, Anastasia's, obviously the dealerships, in town. There's a lot of mom and pop, we still got it, Jewel Lasco, and,
Yeah.
So it's that nice hometown feel. I don't know if that was maybe part of your decision coming to Antioch as principal.
It's absolutely right. Like, I think, one story I always like to tell is that at freshman orientation just recently, I think it was this year, I was talking to parents, and they said this was the 5th generation of the family to come through the high school. So that, this high school has been open since 1915, and they said for every generation there has been a member of the family to go through. And so that's just one story of many that are like that. So when we talk about people that go through the high school, stay in the area, then have kids that go to the high school, that is very common.
Yeah.
And it's just a great community feel, right? Like I just love going up and down Main Street, because it's you step outside of time, it seems like that. It's kind of a moment frozen in time back in the day when the small town and everybody knew your name, sort of a thing. So Antioch is that community feel, and that was certainly a drawing point for me, and I think a lot of other families that end up living here.
That's awesome. So what do you enjoy about being a principal?
I get to do things like this, right? I get to hang out with the Cardinal Crazy,
Yeah.
And the students. I think that for me and students and staff, but I was a social studies teacher when I taught, and I've always enjoyed just interacting with the future of America, and just being around kids sometimes makes you a kid as well. So sometimes I pinch myself that I'm actually getting paid to do this job, but it's one of the best jobs that you could ever have, and it's certainly one of the best jobs you could ever have is being a principal at Antioch, because of, again, the parents, the staff, and the students.
That's awesome. Social studies teacher, that was actually my favorite teacher growing up.
Okay,
Was
good.
my social studies teacher.
Yeah.
It was one of my worst subjects, but there was something about Mr. Wolf,
Okay.
that I don't know, just something. The information stuck,
Yeah. So that's good. Because sometimes people don't like history, and I said, well, you just didn't have the right teacher, right?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about this school year. What were some of the highlights of the 2025 school year?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Obviously, we just had the main event, right? Which was awesome.
Just it's kind of going to be hard to like single out one particular thing. I think, our sports programs are phenomenal. We're competitive in just about everything, both in the local level and the state level. At the end of last year, our girls softball team went downstate and got second in state.
It's huge. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch. And, just even last night, I was at the choir concert. So last choir concert for our seniors, and that was fun to watch, right? It was a situation where, I've been here 3 years, to see them grow and develop and to find young musicians and the talent that they have is phenomenal. So, like, highlights, like almost every day is a highlight, to be honest with you, because success of the students. We had a record number of Illinois State scholars, so the kids are just absolutely killing it in the classroom and on the stage and on the sports fields and the basketball courts. It's difficult to say there's been this highlight and this highlight when there's so many things that have been fantastic.
I think I remember going back in high school. It's like I was at a smaller school, so we didn't have as much, I guess you can say, extracurricular activities as Antioch does. But how do those extracurricular activities? Yeah, right. It's fun, right? How those extracurricular activities? I think people forget how important they are to a student's learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's choir, being part of the drama club, participating in the high school musical.
Yeah, absolutely. It teaches some lessons that are difficult maybe to teach in the classroom, right? Though, talking about the musical, right? Like, there's an incredible amount of students that put that together, right? Under the direction of, you have a couple adult directors there, but the students are the ones who, behind the scenes as well as on stage, put it all together. And the lessons about making sure that you're dependable for everybody else who depends on you, and your responsibility to the team. Now, this team was rather large, right? I think you're probably talking about 70, 80 individuals when you consider the crew and the cast, and they all have to be responsible for each other, and the volleyball team, Cardinals on the volleyball team, he's got to make sure that he does his part to make that everybody counts on him. And again, sometimes that you can't quite really do that in the classroom. So extracurriculars are so important for teaching lessons that, if we're being honest, sometimes are more important than what you may have learned in math class or science class.
It's true. Those relationships that you build, I mean, they're going off to college, right?
Yeah.
So this is crunch time.
They got to know how to deal with people, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you said Crazy Cardinals on the volleyball team, right?
Yeah, right. Yes.
That's awesome. How old is Crazy Cardinal? How old are you, Crazy Cardinal?
1. If you can see
So this is our first year with Crazy Cardinal?
Yeah, the Cardinal Craze, the first year has been. So we decided that we needed a mascot. We had a mascot, but it was getting old and it didn't really fit the vibe that we were trying to achieve. And so we had 3 different. So Cardinal comes from a company that actually produces like Tommy Hawk, and I think they also even produce Benny the Bull.
Okay.
So we're talking about high-end mascot company, and again, provided by Sequoia Pride. Sequoia Pride was the one, our booster club, that provided Cardinal Crazy. So we wanted a vibe that kind of was something that people in the community could look at, little kids. Again, we talk about the community aspect. Friday football nights are incredible, and we wanted kids who were going with parents to watch, maybe the older brother or even the kid from the neighborhood that's playing on the field, to go up to Cardinal Crazy and want to take a picture with Cardinal Crazy. And the vibe we were kind of thinking was like the Philly Fanatic.
Yeah,
something that was, kind of crazy, fun-loving, somebody, and it's been that way that kids love in the high school. Anytime Cardinal Crazy is out in the hallways.
Just walking out, everyone pointing and trying to be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was fun, and that's the vibe that we were kind of getting at, So we were fortunate to have such a real cool design for the Cardinal Crazy.
So are you the digger, the setter, or the spiker on the team, Cardinal? Digger.
Yep.
I can just pick him up
Yeah,
and
he does a
block
pretty good
everyone,
job. He's kind of, he's got the padding there, so, if he goes on the floor, he doesn't have to worry about knee burns or anything like that, because he's got the fur to kind of protect him there.
What would you say to parents maybe who are considering, Antioch High versus maybe other schools?
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about it, the
Yep.
community feel, right? And based upon what I've heard from people, that's why they move here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Antioch is a great high school. I think you get a phenomenal education. You get, we're about 1,200 students, so it's just the right size, not too big, not too small. And the community is just great, right? Like, you have everything that you could ever want. You have fine restaurants. You could buy a car, Ford truck like the one we're driving here, and go down to the dealership and interact with people like you that we know are going to take care of the community members. It's just
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people in town that not just, obviously we live here, we work here, right? We play in town, we go to the local congregation or whatever it is, right? Like it's definitely that hometown feel.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's such a strong pull, right?
It is. It really is. The lake, we got the lake here pretty
Yeah.
close, and the chain of lakes and everything. It's a beautiful area.
Mm-hmm.
So lots to do for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we try to do our part as the high school. There's only one high school in Antioch, so kids all go to that high school. So we want to make sure that kids have a fantastic experience when they get to us in grades 9 through 12.
So I feel like a lot of the students are like, signing yearbooks and all that stuff, right? Is that kind of what's going on right now? Maybe, the
Yeah.
seniors are probably reminiscing and, trying to figure out where they're going to meet up with their friends for one last summer and all that good stuff, right?
Crying, right?
Yeah, a lot
gotta
of
say
crying,
goodbye
a lot of hugging, right?
Well, yeah.
The freshmen are probably like, we made it to our first year of high school. Like,
Yeah.
we're sophomores now, right?
Yeah. Well, May is always such a big and busy month, right? Like, late nights almost every week. And so it was always kind of the joke that you just, you're trying to get to the finish line and running out of gas once you get there, and long nights and long weekends, and everybody, students, staff, principals. So they're just trying to get to the end and kind of take a breather as the summer kind of rolls in, which is kind of like a summer-like day today. Finally,
Yeah, it's
nice and sunny out,
Yep.
right?
Yep, it's perfect.
Nice and sunny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get the dual roof, right?
Right, dual roof.
What is Principal Barry doing this summer?
So I don't get summers off. I got to come in.
What?
Yes, right. So I'll have to take vacations. I don't have anything planned yet, but we'll see. I got to get out and get a vacation in. I'll try and do that.
So you work through the summer.
Work through the summer, yeah. Get some vacation days that I'll have to take, and sometimes I like to take a Friday off and have a nice long weekend. And it's a little bit easier when you come into school and there's no staff or students, so it's not as busy, right? It's kind of.
I'm sure you're getting pulled in all sorts of directions all day long. You come to school, you come with an agenda. Today I'm going to get this, and this done, and you never got to the
Yeah,
first one,
right. And then
Yeah.
you look at the to-do list the next day, and it's got stuff from that last day, and sometimes you just make, what am I not going to be able to get done today? But you're right, you're getting pulled in a lot of directions, a lot of questions that you have to answer at the end of the year.
Well, this was a lot of fun. I'm so glad that we did this.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. We can't wait, to see the comments and the reactions of not just, maybe some students and parents, teachers, all that good stuff, So this will be great. We'll have to do it again, maybe with another staff member or something like that. You're always welcome to nominate someone.
Okay.
Let us know who you want us to pull, and we can go for a drive and, talk about maybe some other things that are going on in Antioch, at the high school and everything. So, Cardinal Crazy, excited that you were part of this. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
And we'll have to go for another ride. Maybe next time we'll grab a convertible. What do you think? Yeah.
I have to worry
That
about my
Mustang.
hair though. That might get messed up, right? Or probably, I have to worry about whether or not it gets a little sunburn. So, but I want to say on behalf of Seacoast Pride, Antioch Community High School, we really appreciate the partnership that we have with Kunes, and we can, the very generous donation that you gave at the main event was just phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure. We look forward to working together for years. So.
Yeah, we do, and we got some things planned, right?
Yeah.
To help raise some funds for our students, as well as to
Yeah, we'll be doing that pickup and delivery stuff.
Yeah,
I got some
absolutely.
stuff in the works, so we'll get that in writing for you guys for this summer and for the next school years, basically.
Right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
we're looking forward to it.